Hello, I'm Jon Stapleton with CodeVA, and this is a quick tutorial about while loops with Python. Let's jump right into it. So I've got a little editor here on replit.com, and I'm going to show you what a while loop is. So a while loop is a conditional control structure, which is just a fancy thing of saying like it's a thing we can write in code to make the computer do stuff. And that's going to have the computer repeat a sequence of code over and over again. That's really all there is to it. So I'm going to write a little program here. Just, silly nothing example. So this is a print, prints, the computer's going to output some text to the console over here. And then I'll do my while loop. So a while loop starts with the word while. And then we need a Boolean value. A Boolean value is either true with a capital T or false with a capital F. I'll use true here because if I'll show you why in a second. And then a colon, and that's all the syntax. And then all of the code that we want the computer to loop is going to get indented under that while true line, or that while line. Great. So when I run this code, the computer is going to start by doing my normal print line, and then it'll do this line in a loop. And then I'm going to add another line at the end just for demonstration purposes. Okay, ready. Whoa. Well, that's not that's not super helpful. What you'll notice here is, indeed, the computer is repeating this line over and over again, but there's nothing to tell the computer to stop repeating that line. The computer's never going to get to the end print command. It's stuck in an infinite loop. And I have to hit the garbage can on my, I'll hit stop, and then, it'll take a second. Yeah, this isn't good for the computer. You're not supposed to do that. So this is going to get a little bit wiggly for a moment. I might need to refresh my page, but that's not a huge problem actually. Let's do this. We'll close these and then we'll open up a new. Yeah, we'll wait for this to do its thing. So now that's bad, right? The computer's stuck in the loop. If I put false here, what the computer is going to do is just skip this line entirely. It won't start the loop. It'll just skip all the code indented inside the loop. In fact, let's do another print statement. The computer's going to skip these two lines entirely. It's as if this never even was in the code. So, two things with a while loop. If the computer sees a value of true here in this spot, it'll do these lines of code forever. If the computer sees a value of false in this spot, it'll skip the code block indented below while entirely. It won't do it at all. We can even use variables in our loops, which is kind of cool. So let's set a variable called count equal to 0, and then we'll have the computer display that value. Now, this is super, super crucial. I also am going to show you what happens if I have the computer modify a variable inside a loop. Watch this. Now remember, the computer is going to do this part, then do this part, and then because I've changed this value to true, the computer will repeat these three lines of code over and over again. Now it's a little hard to see, but what do you notice about this? My number here is increasing. The computer is modifying this value count, and it keeps that value. It keeps going up and up and up forever and ever. And that's the key to the while loop. That's what we're going to do to have the computer stop the loop. Because obviously getting stuck in an infinite loop isn't that useful. What if I wanted to have the computer do this sequence just 10 times? To do that, I'm going to use a relational expression. While the variable count is less than 10, the computer will interpret this relational expression as a value of true, because if count is 0, 0 is indeed less than 10, so that gives you a true value. If the variable count is 5, 5 is also less than 10, so that also gives you a true value. If the variable count has a value of 10, then suddenly this relational expression gives the computer a value of false. So as long as I'm modifying a variable that I'm using in the while loop relational expression, the loop will eventually end. Now, here we go. Oh, it skipped it entirely because count is not less than 10. Let's put this back to 0. Boom. There we go. That's a while loop. This is a pattern, a while loop pattern that you're going to see a lot. We'll have a variable that's dedicated to eventually stopping the loop. This is called like a loop control variable. The loop control variable is included in a relational expression that starts when the loop first begins as a value. This should be true at first. Otherwise, the computer will just skip the loop entirely. And then inside the loop, we need to have the computer modify that loop control variable so that as the computer does the loop, eventually the loop ends. Eventually, this value, this relational expression, will give the computer a value of false. And that's basically it. That's all you need to know about loops in Python. If you have any questions about any of this stuff, please get in the comments below. We would love to help you. Otherwise, good luck and happy coding.